My name is Steve Baldwin. It is Monday, September 11th, 2017. I am in Thurston County, Washington State, in the city of Tumwater, my brother's property. I'm a whistleblower, and this briefly is my story. After years of successfully challenging the Obama administration, the federal government, the local police, and debating people online on social media, discussing philosophy, religion, politics, apparently I caught the attention of some people at the federal, the state, and the local level. July 27, 2016, the police were waiting for me when I came off the Chehalis Western Trail in Lacey, Washington. And I was forced into a confrontation with them. And while successfully defending myself, I was then double tasered. I was beaten on with the fist of the arresting officer while I laid on my belly face down in the road. I was then booked into the Thurston County Jail. I was held there for 96 days straight. I was never arraigned before a judge in live court. I never received due process of my Fourth and Sixth Amendment rights. They used literal torture techniques that are found in prisoner of war camps: sleep deprivation, dehydration, malnutrition. And they used some type of sound dynamics torture techniques they use upon the brain, the mind, and the chemicals they would pump into my cell and or put on my food helped them with that process. The phone card they gave me dropped the phone calls I tried to make out, so literally no one, including my family, knew I was there. The only way they found out was I went through a person on the medical staff, and I pleaded with them. I said, look, my phone card doesn't work. Would you be willing to contact my family for me on my behalf and let them know I'm here? She gave me some paperwork, I signed it, and within a few days she told me that my family had been contacted. So I was expecting to be bailed out within a week or two. No. Apparently, in early August, one of my brothers did try to bail me out. I was never told he tried to bail me out. I found out later, after I was released, that the reason they gave him for not releasing me on bail, which never should have been set, which is another story, the reason they gave him for not releasing me on bail was because they said I had no address to release me to, which is ridiculous since the police were at my address to arrest me, and I had given my address to numerous people while they're in the jail, from medical staff to the guards, paperwork I'd signed and filled out. They obviously knew where I lived. And by the way, when is it our government's responsibility to keep somebody in jail because our government has said, oh, this person doesn't have an address to go home to? Are they going out and arresting all the homeless people, saying you're being arrested because you don't have an address to live at? That's ridiculous. That literally happened. So they kept me there 2 months longer after my brother tried to bail me out. And in that time, an attempt was made on my life. I was put in a cell with 2 felons, a 2-person cell with 3 people. I was forced into a confrontation with one of the inmates. I was put in a reverse chokehold. My head was beaten on a steel toilet 5 to 6 times. That's why I have this scar here, which is healing up. And then that attempt made on my life was covered up by the gentleman that eventually would become my public defender, forced on me. During that time, those 96 days there, this never went to trial, and I was never arraigned for a judge in live court. They literally worked on breaking me down, trying to get me to take a plea deal on charges which I was innocent of. They said that I was guilty of assaulting a police officer, which all I did was defend myself from an attacking officer. They wanted me to accept a plea deal on that, which still carried with it serious consequences. They put a gentleman in one of the cells I was in who tried to convince me to commit myself to Western State, which is a behavioral health facility here in Washington State, claiming that if I did that, I'd get to go home early. But I realized that they were literally trying to get me to say I was guilty of things, or to associate me and my name, my character, with things that would then degrade my testimony against them. They constantly worked on setting me up while being incarcerated to then document me in a way, or classify me in a way through the medical staff and through the guards as being someone who would be unreliable in my testimony. They literally tried to set people up and have them classified. So they then, when they try to defend themselves in court, they hold up the paper and say, no, we have this person classified this way. You can't listen to anything they're saying. This happened because of the years of exposing the Obama administration, his hate for America, his attempts at subverting America, local government, the attacks on family, community. It's having a big impact on social media. At the same time, through a Twitter account, they could tell I was also challenging the local intercity transit, local police, and other entities, and the federal government colluded, contacted the local police and other entities here in this area, including eventually I learned after they gave their NSA spying capabilities to local Antifa, BLM, La Raza groups who are also associated with the local police forces and the Thurston County Jail. There's a number of people involved with those groups who are in the system there. I have found out now on a daily basis, if I leave my home, I am harassed, followed. They try to set me up on intercity transit. They try to set me up around the community in stores. They literally have people daily, moment by moment, trying to harass, intimidate, accuse, lie, slander. They literally try to set people up and then video it and document it in a way that they can assassinate a person's character. So they just don't work on a person's character. They also work on assassinating people whose character they can't assassinate, which was an attempt made on my life while in jail, and attempts made on my life after getting out of jail, and harassment before I went into jail. This is literally the federal government colluding with state government, county government, and local government, and private sector citizens and businesses, which they recruit by going behind a person's back and simply accusing a person of crimes in which we've never been arrested for, never been found guilty for, never even been to court for. That's literally what they do. They lie. And you see the lying going on in our culture right now, in the mainstream media, all through the culture. There's openly lying now about people, from the president on down. And because I was exposing them in the Obama administration, his attempted subversions of America, of our family, of our culture, of the foundations that we hold sacred, because I was challenging the corruption of local police and local government, they literally colluded and worked on burying me in the Thurston County Jail and a legal system there, not expecting me to get out. They literally were trying to keep me from being able to contact my family. And once that happened, they then denied bail that was posted by my family, never told me that that was denied, never tried to rectify the situation, and never told and the public defender they had signed to cover up the attempt made on my life by the two inmates, never told me, after being assigned as my now permanent public defender on the original charges, about my family even trying to bail me out. They literally were trying to bury me there in the system, hoping I would never get out, and then having me committed to Washington State, which is a mental health, which is a behavioral health facility. That's what they try to do. They literally try to assassinate a person's character so that when they do speak out, or if they ever go to court, or if they ever try to tell their story, or get national attention, they then have that person's name demeaned. As I said, I'm literally being harassed daily, and it's been that way before I went to jail, back on July 27th, 2016, and now here we are, September 11th, 2017, and I'm still literally harassed, followed by either police and or those they've now recruited in the private sector, and then with government agents, both working for the CIA, which now controls America's FBI and NSA. They've given over their spying and hacking capabilities to local entities, including Black Lives Matter. This is Washington State, where recently at the Evergreen State College, the Black Lives Matter tried to have all white people based on skin color, although not content of character, as Martin Luther King Jr. said, but based on skin color alone. They tried to have white people banned from the campus. And the professor that ended up blowing the whistle on that ended up on Joe Rogan, explaining his story. They tried to tell him that because he was white, he would not even be allowed to defend himself. What I'm getting at is that's the type of atmosphere here in Western Washington, in Thurston County, in Olympia, Washington, Tumwater, and Lacey, Washington. It is literally a secular, humanist, anti-American, anti-humane, anti-family, anti-community group of people, politicians, local private sector citizens, This is what they believe. They do not believe in the rule of law. They do not believe in our inalienable rights. They do not believe in our civil or constitutional rights, though they claim they do, which again is just another lie to help them cover up their attempted subversions and the hunting and stalking of Christians, of all American lovers who just love this country, people who have openly supported our inalienable rights, our constitutional rights, our civil rights on social media. They have literally documented, databased, and are now stalking and hunting those people, and as I said, tried to incarcerate me in Thurston County Jail for 96 days straight, tortured daily, trying to beat me down and get me to accept a plea deal or commit myself to Western State. And that was after an attempt was made on my life. So this briefly is my story. There's much more. The feds are colluding with state, county, and local government and private sector citizens to literally hunt down those of us who have been standing up for this nation, for our communities, for our family, for those things which we consider to be sacred. Our inalienable rights, our civil rights, our constitutional rights, the rule of law. I will be telling more of this, but I am being slandered, stalked. There have been attempts made on life. I've been poisoned a number of times, literally poisoned a number of times since I've been out. And I'm getting this information out to as many people as possible. As I said, they've been trying to assassinate my character. They've accused me of things of which I've never been arrested for. I've never gone to court for. I've never been tried. I've never been arraigned before a judge on life court for. They simply go behind people's backs. They go door to door. They go business to business. And they go to newspapers and they say, hey, you have a white nationalist Trump supporter, and we've classified them as racist, bigots, haters. And this is being done by the people who are actually the racists, the bigots, and the haters. That's how irrational their hate is. They actually take what they're guilty of and they accuse innocent people of being guilty of those things so that they can have those people arrested, jailed, and thrown in prison and or killed. That is going on in America. I'm one of many people. I happen, though, to have found out the entities involved and been exposing them, and so there's a colluded effort trying to come down on me as well as others, trying to take us out, trying to take Trump out, and all we do is